Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on Storyblok course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. Happy Friday to those of you watching live. I'm glad you're here with us. Today, or as always, before I get started, you can get a hold of me right there, Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Feel free to send me an email, any questions you may have, feedback. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Today, I have a special guest presenter. His name is Siavash Moazzam Vahid. He's a content marketer at Storyblok, and he's going to show us how to edit content inside of Storyblok using the real-time visual editor. And you'll get all the details in just a minute. But before we get started, as always, remember to register for free at headlesscreator.com. Get your free account. You'll have access to all of the lessons for the Focus on Storyblok. And you can see this is, if we go to the Focus on Storyblok course, you can see there's a lot of lessons in there, many more lessons coming on. Also, you'll have access to the Content Modeling Weekly, which is my passion. I love content modeling, and every week I model something. Regardless of the Headless CMS you use, I do Headless CMS agnostic content models that you can then apply to wherever you want. So, and then you'll have access also to the Discover Headless Tech course as well, where obviously you can discover new headless technology. So go register for free, headlesscreator.com. I really appreciate you doing that. I'm close to 700 registered users already, and I'm shooting for 1,000 by the end of the year, and I'm pretty sure I'll make that without a problem. All right, as most of you know how this works, for the on-demand version of this lesson, which will be available probably in about an hour after we're done with it, there is absolutely no marketing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the intro, and I will see you in just 10 seconds. Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on Storyblok course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, there is my email address, marcelo@headlesscreator.com. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions, feedback, comments, requests. Doesn't matter, just reach out. I'll get back to you within 24 hours. Today, I have a special guest presenter. His name is Siavash Moazzam Vahid. He's a content marketer at Storyblok. And I'll tell you, well, I'm not going to tell you more about him because I'm going to invite him in pretty soon. But today he's going to show us how to work with the visual editor in Storyblok to manage your content. But without further ado, let me bring on Siavash.
Hey Marcelo. Hey, everyone.
How are you, sir?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I'm glad you're here. I'm doing great. It's early in the morning in Southern California here. We're in LA. You are, I believe, in Berlin, right?
No, I'm in Graz, but the same time zone. So it's early evening now, 5:30. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, 4:30. Yeah.
4:30. Okay, perfect. So you are a content author, marketer over there. Can you tell us a little bit about your position and also tell us a little bit about your background before even Storyblok?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, as you mentioned, I'm a content marketer over at Storyblok, and I have joined the team almost a year ago. August would be exactly 1 year. As you know, it's a headless system, and I'm part of like a team of 5, 6 at this point doing marketing there. That means, you know, I also have to use a headless system on a daily basis, which is interesting, and it's the first time for me personally. And talking about my background a little bit, I actually was mainly working in academia before, doing, you know, similar things, creating content, doing podcasts and videos, and doing research and publishing papers and stuff. But then this is I'm kind of new in the CMS scene in general, as someone who works, you know, in the industry itself, not as a user.
Right.
But yeah, that's it.
So you're obviously a content creator because you've done podcasts and all that. So what do you see as the biggest challenge for a content creator?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Obviously, it depends on what kind of content you're creating and what's your target audience, right? It's really important to first understand that, then to understand what's your problem, if you have problems. But I guess if I have to point out like a couple of things that are almost universal, it's It's being able to reach the people that you need to reach, and also giving them the option to reach you in any way they want. I think those are very important things to fix, and also 2 points that kind of connects to what you talk about and what I'm going to talk about. So yeah, I would say those 2 things are very important.
Yeah, and that's where headless CMSs, right, regardless of the company, come in handy for the multi-channel delivery, right?
Exactly.
Cool. So I always love to end my interviews with something personal. What's your favorite hobby? I always ask about movies because everybody knows I love movies. But this time I want to ask, what's your hobby? What do you do outside for fun to relax?
I love going to the movies, but also I like playing music. Just my guitar back there.
I see it.
I like hiking. I mean, if you live in Austria, I'm not from Austria, but I've been living here for the past couple of years, and there's just so many places to hike and see. It's just very beautiful landscapes. That's very fun. I usually do that during the weekends.
Nice. Well, I got to ask you, what's your favorite movie then, if you love movies?
My favorite. It's a very hard question, but since you have the Airplane poster behind you, I love Leslie Nielsen and I love Airplane, and I watch it at least a couple of times annually. So I know all the lines.
And I, my friend, are going to be friends for life just because you said you love Airplane. We quote that movie constantly in my family.
It's great.
So, all right, perfect. All right, Siavash, we're ready for your presentation. I'm going to go ahead and at the screen here, we can see it. I'm going to go on mute. If anybody has questions, please post them in the chat. And I'll ask Siavash the question. Siavash, I'll probably have some questions, but it's all yours, man.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks a lot. All right. Again, hello, everyone. I thought it would make sense before jumping into the more practical stuff. I would just talk about a couple of points or like 2 specific points, really. The first one being more about the structure of this lesson, and then the other 3 ones that we're going to do, me and Marcelo, which, by the way, you can check out at headlesscreator.com/course/focus on Storyblok. So while these 4 lessons, including this one, are going to be pretty self-contained and independent, they still kind of connect to each other, not because they follow the same theme, but because they also kind of build on top of each other. In the sense that, talking about this lesson and this video specifically, while it has its own focus, which is the visual editor in Storyblok, it also introduces a couple of themes and things that then which we would take in the later videos to go into more detail and talk more in depth about them, right? Like workflows, versioning, and all those things and components. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that while this would be a focus on the visual editor today, it would also be kind of like a building block for all the other lessons to come in the next couple of weeks. The second point I was going to mention is I thought it would be interesting before, again, jumping to the practical side of things, talk about a little bit before, maybe a minute, about the idea behind the visual editor itself. And for that, without turning this into a history lesson of CMS and its evolution, which I'm sure all of you know more better than me, couple of years ago, whenever it was, when headless systems started to pop up, what we, by we I mean the industry, the CMS industry, did as a collective was to, chop the head off of the monolithic systems, of course. And the problem is that by doing that, we also kind of ended up with a little bit of collateral damage, if you will, and we kind of got rid of a series of capabilities that non-developers and non-technical users like myself, your marketers, your content creators, content authors, editors, whatever you want to call them, capabilities that these people were not only used to, but kind of depended on a daily basis to do their things, right? And the list is very long. I'm not going to go through all of them, but perhaps the most important thing there is what we usually call what you see is what you get, right? So seeing exactly how your content is going to look like. And now it's maybe a little bit boring if you keep looking at my face and the screen there. So I made this oversimplified graph. You can argue even it's pointless because it's so simple, but just to have something nice to look at. So anyway, while in a simplified way, again, monolithic systems were kind of geared towards business users, your non-technical users, with a disclaimer here that as long as you're working only on the web, right? If you move beyond the web, doing IoT stuff, AR, VR, then it's already a huge problem. But let's keep it simple. While these monolithic systems were great for business users like me, they were, they were a headache to work with for a lot of developers. And then came the headless systems, but the balance kind of shifted the other way. So in both cases, one group had to make kind of like huge compromises. And I believe the ideal way is to find, the sweet spot right in the middle. Of course, it's impossible to do it right in the middle, but somewhere there, right? That would be my ideal system, at least in my head. And that doesn't mean you have to get rid of your headless architecture. You can't keep everything, but just bring back some of those capabilities, right? Especially this, what you see is what you get. And that is what I think the visual editor is, right? That's why I think it's an important thing. And that's why I like working with it on a daily basis. That's it. I'm done.